Well, the demise of the Assad regime in Syria caps a very bad year for its backer, Iran. Syria has been a key part of Tehran's regional strategy and so-called axis of resistance. But with Assad now gone and other proxies across the Middle East severely weakened by Israel, the Islamic Republic's influence and stability is now under threat.
Down with Israel, down with America. For decades, these have been the twin goals of Iran's foreign policy. This year, neither went very well. Iran has long supported states and militias in the Middle East, partly to influence politics by promoting Shia Muslim forces and Islamist paramilitaries, and also to threaten Israel. This policy reached its peak with the deadly Hamas terror attack on Israel on the 7th of October 2023. Iran has denied involvement, but things have gone downhill for Tehran ever since. This year, Israel took the upper hand. In April, an Israeli airstrike killed Iranian generals and military advisors in Syria. Iran responded with 300 missiles and drones aimed at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, all of which were shot down, a military failure. The tit-for-tat attacks continued. In October, another volley of 180 missiles and drones failed to reach their targets, and Israel conducted airstrikes on Iran that hit its missile facilities and air defense capabilities. Hamas in Gaza was one key part of Iran's power projection, but the group saw two of its key leaders killed this year, in addition to losing thousands of fighters. Political leader Ismail Haniyeh was killed by a bomb explosion in Tehran, an embarrassment as well as a black eye. Operational leader Yahya Sinwar was killed in Gaza, and Israeli airstrikes and ground operations killed much of Hamas's fighting forces. The Shia militia Hezbollah in southern Lebanon was another key Iranian proxy. But a wave of Israeli attacks, starting with the detonation of explosive pager devices, and culminating in airstrikes that took out its senior leadership and much of its arsenal of rockets, left the group much weaker. The dominoes kept falling. When Syrian rebels ousted Iran's ally Bashar al-Assad from power, Iran lost its ability to resupply Hezbollah over land. It also lost much of its ability to threaten and influence politics in Lebanon. And the rebel groups are likely to establish a Sunni Muslim government allied with Iran's arch-rival Saudi Arabia. And then there's the domestic front, where President Ibrahim Raisi died in a helicopter crash in May. That created political instability that stalked Iran through the year. The near future is clouded even more by Donald Trump's winning the U.S. presidency. He's been consistently and extremely hawkish about Iran. More bad news after an already very bad year for the country.
Well, for more, let's bring in Ali Fatollah-Nejad, Director of the Centre for Middle East and Global Order. He joins us from Berlin. Great to have you on the show. So I'd like to first ask for your take. We heard from Assad for the first time since his ouster. In a written statement posted on Telegram, he's detailed the circumstances leading to his departure from Syria and says he's in Russia. So what do you think all of this means for Iran?
Well, obviously, the events that have unfolded since October 7th, 2023, but especially so since last summer, have been nothing less than of historic proportions. Iran's regional strategy is in ruins. Its so-called axis of resistance is as well in ruins. It has lost its crown jewel within this axis in September. Hezbollah in Lebanon has been decimated and decapitated. And it is now culminated in the sudden fall of the Assad regime within only 11 days. So we are now entering a new era in regional geopolitics. There are tectonic shifts to the detriment of the Islamic Republic.
Well, how much pressure is that putting then on the Iranian government?
A lot of pressure, because this is absolutely new. I mean, imagine that, we didn't see such a situation since the inception of the Islamic Republic almost 46 years ago. So this is a whole new situation, and there is a great dose of strategic perplexity among the Iranian leadership. Iran has lost the two wings of its regional power projection capabilities, first Hezbollah and now the Assad regime. And so this is whole new territory, and there is great confusion.
But how might Iran react given this weakened position in the region?
I don't think that the Iranian leadership knows what to do now. One of the things that they might opt for is to re-engage in so-called nuclear diplomacy with the West, using its nuclear program as a leverage in order to get Western states back to the negotiating table so that the West can give the Iranian leadership some concessions in terms of sanctions relief. So this would be the only way out for the Iranians, but the West should be cognizant of the changing geopolitics of the region and also of Iran's historic weakness.
Let's talk about Iran domestically now. So Iran's president has just vetoed a strict headdress law that was passed by hardliners in parliament. So the veto has been seen as a bit of a power struggle, right, between hardliners and moderate forces amid fears of renewed popular resistance. So how do you see the power dynamics right now within Iran?
I mean, first of all, we have to be very careful not to fall into the trap of analyzing, politics in the Islamic Republic through a factional lens. There is much more, common ground between the different factions than widely assumed. And also Iran's new president, Pezeshkian, is no reformist or no moderate. And of course, I mean, you're right to suggest that the hijab issue is one of tremendous importance also for regime security reasons for the Islamic Republic. But there is great societal opposition vis-a-vis the hijab law, hence the highest authority's decision not to implement the stricter hijab law at current circumstances, when the country is mired not only in a geopolitical setback of historic proportions, that it also targeting its very political ideology as well, but is also mired in a very deep economic crisis. So all of that is a very crucial moment for the Iranian leadership.
We'll have to leave it there, Ali. Ali Fatollah-Nejad, from the Director of the Centre for Middle East and Global Order. Thanks for joining us on DW News today.
Thank you for having me.